So this is my deck power level tutorial, technically. Basically just to show how to use the chart. Let's see if I can get access to the chart right quick. So you see this is the Yu-Gi-Oh deck power level chart. 30 points per win condition, 10 points for spell negation effects, 10 points for trap negation effects, 10 points for effect negation. These would be individual effects, like Notorious Beast would be just spell negation, right? Barkin would be trap negation, Phoenix Chain would be effect negation. Technically it counts as effect negation as well as defensive card, but you only get 10 points. It's just to simplify things instead of like trying to add up the multiple uses of a card and how many points that card gives you power, you know what I mean? I might change that, but for now we're just gonna go with, since Stardust Assault Mode can stop spells, trap, and effect monsters, only 10 points just for Stardust Assault Mode instead of 30 points. That's what we'll go with for now. That's the concept I'm trying to go with, but I might change that over time. I might make it where it's just points for every effect, basically. So Stardust Assault Mode would be 30 points if we went by this chart exactly, as opposed to just 10 points just because he has all these abilities, but we just give only 10 points. 10 points for spell and trap destruction. You know, MST, Regeki, Break Dust, Tornado, stuff like that. Monster destruction, Dark Hole, Regeki, you know, Black Rose, for example. Defensive card. Red Screen, Mirror Force would be considered the defensive card, Wabagoo. But of course, Mirror Force also destroys monsters, so it'll still be 10 points. Search cards would be like Duality, Reinforcement of the Army, Tenki. Draw cards would be like Reckless and Upstart, Pot of Greed, stuff like that. 10 points for if you have a 40 card deck. 50 points, 5 points for a 50 card and up. They're supposed to say 50 and up. So 50 cards and up. So if your deck is higher than 50 cards, it's 50 and up. Only 5 points. 10 points for monster resummon. So any effect that, like Call on to Monster Reborn, the Breeze Dragon, Rekindle, stuff like that. Stuff that brings back monsters. That's what monster resummon is. Alright, so let's just go into the list. So I'm going to use my Volcanic Quasar OTK as an example to see the power level of this. I kind of did the math a little bit wrong because when I looked at the chart I was like, yeah, OTKs are 30 points, so since I have 3 OTKs, that automatically is 90 points right there. So let me correct this right quick. Okay. So that means 2, 4, 6, 60 points. Alright, so the deck's power level is actually higher. Alright, so the deck's power level is 330. So you see it's pretty strong. You want to get 100 and above. I got 330, so this deck is pretty strong in what it can do. So there's 3 OTKs. There's Quasar. That's your win condition. Right? You rekindle, make and go into synchroing into making Quasar. So that's one win condition. That's the deck's main win condition. Secondary win condition would be rekindling and then just synchro summon. Well, it'll be double rekindle, 2 rekindles, and Flame Veil Magician, and Inari Fire. It could be any variation of the 4-star tuner, you know, and any of the 4-star non-tuners that are 200 defense. Because the idea is you're going to synchro and create Jewel Red Dragon, Scrap Dragon, and Stardust. Right there, you'll be able to OTK with that. That's the second version. The third OTK. Oh yeah, technically there's 4. But there's the inherent OTK, which is just one rekindle, bringing back Lava Magma Cannoneer, you know, Flame Veil Fire Dog, you know, multiple copies of these monsters on the same time. You know, even Inari Fire can put enough damage on the board for an OTK. So that's an inherent OTK. Just because you have rekindle and all these monsters have high attacks with 200 defense, you could just swarm the field with them in OTK. So that's just an inherited OTK. Not something I intended to do, it's just something that the deck can do, and that's why it's called inherit OTK, as opposed to Quasar, which is what the deck is supposed to do. Volcanic Counter OTK is what the deck's supposed to do. I deliberately put that in there, but the Inari Fire and Flame Veil Magician is part of another OTK I came up with, so I threw it in there. So that's another thing that I intended for this deck to be able to do, which was the Rekindle OTK. So I technically got 4. The inherent one makes it 4, so that's actually 30 extra points. So that is still an OTK. So that's 360 points, almost 400 points. So this deck is pretty strong from what it can do. So let's give some examples. Alright, so we already did the 4 different OTKs that can do. 10 points for negation effects. So I got 40 points because of Stardust, Spark Dragon, Quasar, and Shooting. So Stardust, Spark Dragon, Shooting Star Dragon, and Quasar. They all have negation effects. They're all the negation effects of the deck. If I need to negate something, they're the ones that do it. Everything else does other stuff. So that's 40 points right there. Defensive, which is Slacker and Red Screen. So there's Red Screen and there's Slacker Magician. Their job is to defend me, to stall for the win, right? So that's 20 points for those two. 40 points for destruction effects. Because I got Catastor, Black Rose, Scrap Dragon, Jewel Red Dragon Archfiend. Their job is to destroy stuff. So I get 40 points for those 4. For searching effects, I got 10 points. Oh wait, no, I did that wrong. Okay, yeah, I did it wrong. It's 60 points. My bad, 60 points. So I got Lavable Chain. He thins out the deck by sending Maiden to the graveyard. Maiden is another searcher. Pawn is another searcher. Fire Dog is another searcher. And Karen is another searcher. And so is Magical Merchant. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Allowable chain. That's 6. That's 60 points right there.
Am I making myself clear, gentlemen? Yes, sir, you are. Alright.
For draw power, I got Formula and Hyper Librarian. Those are the only draw cards I have in the deck. That's what they're for. So that's 20 points. For Spell and Trap Destruction, I have MST and Red Geki Break. Those are my main back row destruction cards that are in the main deck, of course. So that's 20 points right there. For not destruction, but for removing stuff, and I have, which I will eventually add to the list, will be Lavo Dragon and Vulcan the Divine. They don't destroy, they just remove from the field but I consider removing from the field and destruction pretty much the same thing. So it'll be in the category of this, destruction effect. So since there's 2 of them, that's 20. 2 separate monsters, 2 separate cards that can do the effect. That's 20 points. And reborn effects, like Call, Haunted, Monster Reborn, stuff like that. I got Rekindling and the Breeze Dragon. Those are my reborn cards. Those are the cards that let me bring back monsters from the graveyard. Resummon my monsters after they leave the field. And there's a total of 360 points. So that's the power level of my Volcanic Quasar OTK deck 3.0. It's 360. So it's pretty strong. And hopefully that helps you understand the chart. And that's the end of the video.